So
This is exciting.
I think we should have a vote in the comment section.
Okay.
What was more entertaining,
Watching paint dry.
or watching us?
Here's hoping. Hey, whether you like it or not, subscribe, like. You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't cost you
I'll paint
anything.
that wall fresh every week if you want. If that's all you want to do is
If
watch
they like
paint dry.
watching paint dry, yeah.
I'll paint it fresh every week.
Yeah.
If that's what they want.
Yeah.
I give the people what they want.
You are now listening to Lauer Road Radio.
Hey, welcome one and all to the #1 podcast, winter, spring, and fall. Talking sports for the thrill of it all. Hey, talking life, but we're killing it all. Jason and Dan with the master plan. These are dangerous men with the mic in the hand. Ha. Bonafide winners everywhere that we go. You're a part of the team.
Lauer Radio.
Dad light, good light, bright lights in sight, alright. Dad light, good light, bright lights in sight, alright. Yeah. Dad light, good light, bright lights in sight, alright.
Bonafide winners everywhere that we go. You're a part of the team.
Lauer Radio.
Let's get it.
What?
At Tanagra, when the walls fell, this is Dan Owings coming at you another time for Lauer Road Radio with my co-host, as always, Jason. How you doing today?
I am doing great. The studio, the 7-Eleven studio.
And you
I
landed
about
on
spilled that.
and you landed on that shirt in the new studio. That's
Listen. I like this shirt. What's wrong with this shirt?
Neither I or the producer of the show like this shirt.
That is true.
It's 2 out of 3 people.
She rolled her eyes when she saw me, and I told her I was going to wear this shirt on the show.
You guys were at your house. I was at the studio.
You could hear the eye
painting
roll.
the wall. I could
Yeah.
hear her eyes rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
No, so here's the thing. We got our paint,
yeah.
right? We're
Yeah.
updating the studio. This is brand new.
It's one just now. Many people have thrown some accusations at us.
Yes.
One of which
More than a few.
One of which is I'd rather watch paint dry than watch you guys.
Yes.
Well, there you go.
Now you get a chance.
Now you have your own chance.
So some of that is still wet.
Yeah, I literally painted it a couple hours ago.
15, 20 minutes ago.
It's still drying.
Yeah.
I'm not completely happy with it. It will get another coat, but it's black and it's drying. So you will watch it dry. I don't know if they can see any of the sheen kind of shining at all, but
It's meant to be a dull flat.
it is a flat paint.
Yeah.
And as long as it's wet, it's not flat. So as it dries, it'll flatten out. So you can literally watch paint dry.
The tough part is,
You just turn the volume off
yeah,
and watch the paint dry. You can listen to a book or something.
yeah. I just thought with a black wall, I thought this would be a great contrast.
It's a contrast.
Yeah.
Great is an
Yes,
adjective.
a great contrast. I thought it'd be great. So, what really hacks me off, a little bit, is 7-Eleven made us buy this paint.
Yeah, I know. I was
It's like, we're painting your building. You
Yeah.
should at least kick in $20 and buy the paint.
yeah.
But came out of our pocket.
Hey, what are you going to
I
do?
mean, that's not cool.
I don't think so.
7-Eleven. What's up?
So, every week, Jason, here at Lauer Road Radio, we have 3 things apiece.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't. Like last week, we had Derek on, and we didn't do that
No.
at all. Sometimes you come with things. Technically, they're 3 things, but
Yeah.
sometimes, it's just it's pretty weak.
That is true. I'll just scroll. Look at all those future ideas that I
Wow,
have.
so many ideas.
Tons of ideas.
Tons.
So I've whittled it to the top 3.
All right. Well,
This is going to be exciting.
it's a lot of lead up to who knows what. So, Jason, what is your first thing you want to talk about this week?
The first thing I want to talk about is I am officially back on keto. So if you're a longtime listener of the show, you will realize 2 years ago I was on the keto bandwagon and I lost 64 pounds. Or 66 pounds, I think it was. A lot.
But you found them.
I found them. They almost all came back. No, I put 40 pounds back on. No, almost 50 pounds. Like 45 pounds. So I just weighed in the other day, and I was as heavy as I've been in the last 2 or 3 years. My fat jeans are now skinny jeans. That's a problem. So I can't buy any more fat clothes because when I was at my all-time skinny, I bought skinny clothes.
Well, because...
And now they don't fit. So I need to get skinny again.
Right.
Keto, I actually love keto.
Keto works.
Keto's great. It works. It's 100%. Anybody can do it. It's super easy. And I like the food.
Yeah.
I've been eating pepperoni and eggs and cheese and salami and hamburgers and hot dogs. And I mean, I love this diet.
Yeah.
I love it. So I'm back on it. And you're going to watch me drop 50 pounds before Labor Day.
When is Labor Day?
September.
Okay.
The first week of September. So
you
that gives me all of
sweat it
June.
off in the summer.
Yeah. All of June, all of July, all of August. So 3 months. That's a pretty aggressive schedule.
It's pretty aggressive, some would say.
I'm going to do it. And to help me on my quest, I bought this. Do you see that?
It's a watch.
It is a watch. It's an activity tracker.
Uh-huh.
So it shows the time.
Yes.
See, it wakes up.
A pedometer.
Yes, a step count.
Does it read your
heart rate?
Heart rate?
Yes.
Okay, that's a big part of it.
So my heart rate today, I've been as high as 145.
You should go to the doctor.
And as low as 54. My average heart rate throughout the day is 85. So this kind of leads into my first topic for the night. There was an article that I read recently, very recently, and it said that there is a sweet spot to burn fat.
Right. Yes.
And I kind of always had this thought that that has to be a thing.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody swears. Everybody swears all the time.
Everybody swears.
I mean,
everybody swears.
Stop swearing. There's one of our friends, Ben, here locally, works at the Y.
Oh.
That Ben.
All right.
Ben is convinced that you need to lift super heavy, like high weight, low reps.
Right.
And the fat will continue to burn for the next 6 hours.
Yeah.
That's fine. I hate lifting. I just don't like it. And I'm not set up to lift. I'd have to go somewhere and lift.
Right.
And I think it's only like, half an hour worth of, it's just, I feel like my heart rate's not there.
Got it.
In my gut, I just feel like that's not good enough.
Your gut is
it's gotten
maybe
bigger
the most
recently.
Trustworthy part of you.
I trust my gut quite a bit. So, in this article, it said that most people try to operate at 100% energy level.
Right.
And you're not burning fat when you're operating at 100%. They said that when you're operating at 100%, your body cannot burn fat at that rate. So it ends up burning whatever carbs and sugar, and then it even turns to muscle to pull that energy.
Right.
And so that's not good. So they said if you are operating between 40 and 60% energy level, elevated heart rate, that is the sweet spot to burn fat.
As opposed to sitting down. Like, sitting down would be zero?
Would be zero.
Okay.
Yeah. So they said the high end, 60%, you don't want to go above 60%.
Got it.
So 60% would be walking on a pace that it's uncomfortable to have a conversation. Now, 40%, you could walk and have a conversation.
Got it.
But still somewhat aggressive.
There is a whole workout, set of gyms devoted to this called Orangetheory. Do you know what Orangetheory is?
No, I've never heard of it.
So Orangetheory, their gyms, they're popping up. They got some in Columbus. There's one in Billings now. They're all over the place. When you go into class, everybody puts on one of these things, and then there's like a board that's got like everybody on it and stuff. And as you're doing the workouts, you want to stay in the orange level.
Right.
And if you get above that orange level, you have to like slow down or stop what you're doing.
So it's monitoring heart rate. What else?
I think it's heart rate.
Okay.
But whatever the workout is, whether it's whatever you're doing.
So like red is bad, orange is good,
and you're watching it to stay in that orange level, and that's the whole thing. So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
No, I'm totally on board with this because I really want to do my goal is 10,000 steps.
Yeah.
So, and that's not a lot.
No, it's not.
But
it doesn't happen on accident.
No,
Rarely.
No, on accident, it almost never happened. Not in my life.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm coaching the kids soccer,
Sure.
There was one time I ran like 6 miles coaching 2 soccer games.
Yeah.
I was running with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
I was reffing, and it was YMCA soccer. 6 miles. I'm like, that's crazy. So, my life right now, I'm not doing that.
Right.
So I bought this tracker because I wanted to know what my average would be per day.
Right.
Right now, I'm at like 3,000 just living.
Sure.
And that's just, going back and forth, up and down the stairs, around at work, stuff like that. Some days at work, I might do 10,000.
Yeah.
Because I'm busier, but days where I'm just sitting in the office, it's like 3,000. So,
well, I've been tracking my steps now for over a month, and I have been averaging. I don't know if anybody cares about this. I've been averaging like 12,000 steps a day since May 1st, or actually the last 2 days of April, maybe. And if you can see my tracker here, so the last 2 months are considerably higher than everything else.
Yeah.
So an average month for me, average steps per day in previous month is 5,000, anywhere from 4,500 to 5,500. My lowest, I guess, January, I was at 3,200, so not very active in the month of January.
Right.
But
I think that's probably average with everybody.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then May, 11,600, and June so far, 12,300. So it does, like, you're right, you do have to do it on purpose.
Right.
But now I'm doing the thing where I'm like parking at the end of the lot, like I can get an extra, And so I did the math. I'm basically walking about, give or takes, more or less 200,000 extra steps a month.
200,000
extra
steps.
Not 200,000 steps a month.
So what were you doing before? So 5,000.
Well, 5,000 times 30 is 66. What's 5,000 times 30?
What's 5,000 times 30? High school.
Yeah.
Aren't you in advanced math?
5,000 times 30 is 150,000.
150,000.
So I can't believe we didn't know that. So 150,000 steps was average before.
Right. In one month.
Right.
Right.
In a month. So now I'm averaging 200,000 more than that in a month.
So it's more than double what
More
you're
than
doing.
double.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which means in a year's time, I will have walked 200,000 steps more a month is 2.4 million steps in a year that I wouldn't have taken if I wasn't doing it on purpose.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that is crazy. And I do love the Apple app that just is your activity tracker because like it shows me like the breakdown like in the week, in the month, and in the year.
Right.
And so like in the day or in the week, like I had a day earlier this week where I was 3,500. And so I knew, all right, I got to step it up. So the next day I got 18,000 to like make up the difference.
Right.
And it keeps that average for me.
Right.
And I'm also seeing my average for the year slowly creep up. I mean, it's slow, obviously,
right.
But for the last year, it's creeping up too. So I've really enjoyed that. I figure no matter what I'm doing, an extra 2.5 million steps in a year has to be a good thing.
Well, when you think about it in those terms, there's no wonder we're fat.
Yes. Very inactive.
Very inactive. If you added 2.5 million steps onto your normal routine, 2.5 million steps.
2.5 million's a lot.
There's no reason why we both want to be skinny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now,
and here's the thing, and I don't know, like I said, how much interested I don't know how interested people are in this, but I will say, for my own sake, I find it to be the time in the day that I'm trying to get to, where I've enjoyed it. Like I've been listening to a lot of books and podcasts, and I've actually like thoroughly enjoyed it more than just whatever else I would be doing, sitting at home watching TV or whatever. So for me, I really, it's not a drudgery.
Do you? I know just every day's different, I get that because it's different for everybody. But do you find yourself enjoying it more in the evening, in the morning, throughout the day?
I like to get it done in the morning if
Just
I
to get it
can,
over with.
because then it's not like looming over. Like today, I have like 5,000 steps today, so I'm gonna have to get 4,500 steps today. So I'm gonna have to get 5,000 steps after
Right.
I get home.
Right.
Which is totally doable.
Yeah.
I also like getting a lot of steps done early in the day, because let's say before 8 o'clock I got 10,000 steps in, then everything else is butter.
It's bonus.
Right?
Bonus, yeah.
Bonus.
Bonus. It's bonus.
And then if I want to take a walk in the evening, and then I can get a 20,000 step day in, which is awesome.
And then the next day, sleep all day.
That's right. Yeah. I'm trying to get that
I do think, though,
number
that
up.
like the average, though, right? So it's like you can have a day off.
To me,
or if a day you don't feel good.
Absolutely.
You
yes.
just
or if you
make
just
it
had a
up.
crazy busy day that just wasn't
Right.
particularly active, and your mind is just like, I got to go to sleep, Like, I know I can make it up the next day.
Right.
So I do like that a lot. And if I would, now the trick is now getting me to think about food in the same way, because I know I believe in keto, it works.
Yes.
We
have both proven that.
But if I just from a caloric standpoint, okay, so I know that I understand, but like if I would just think about it in big chunks like that, like that if I did something equivalent to the way I was eating, and then
You
over
would
the
give
next
up
year,
less of 1 million calories a year.
you're talking like a million calories
Right.
a year less. Well, that obviously is going to make a difference.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So trying to change the way I think, to think long term instead of thinking, whatever it is today.
Well, ultimately, no matter what diet you go on, it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah.
If it's a diet for 30 days, you're going to put it back on.
Yeah.
The moment you stop, you're going to put it back on.
Yeah. So, and the trick is be like, like I had a 20,000 step day, so I'm gonna need a tub of ice cream when I get home.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Listen.
That's the issue.
I've done that.
Yeah. So, but
You reward yourself. You just did 10,000
I know,
steps.
I know.
It's a
I
reward.
know. So we there's what the best thing to do while you're walking, Jason? Listen to Lauer Road Radio. I mean,
Yeah.
so we
assumed.
encourage you
Yeah.
to take this, on your walk. All right, that's it.
Yeah. It kind of bounces on my number 2. But
Are
well,
we going
listen.
to talk about this nonsense?
No. Not all night.
Oh, dear. All right. My first thing. There's not a lot to it. I mean, we talked a lot about that, so we don't need to belabor the point. But my first thing is that there are 3 types of movies. And only 3 types of movies. And I defy you to find one outside of these 3 categories.
Okay.
Pre-apocalyptic. How come I can't say the word?
Apocalyptic?
Pre-apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic, and apocalyptic.
Okay.
Every movie,
Okay.
because I know post-apocalyptic movies are a big deal, but every movie is either pre, during, or post.
What about Lord of the Rings?
Well, I would say that's apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic?
Yes, because when the Lord of the Rings ends, literally a new age begins. Like, so...
Okay, that's fine. We'll stop there. You don't have to convince me. Star Wars.
I would say that's... Well, probably... Pre... Well, it depends on which movie. Because...
What do you mean? Based on what?
Well, it just
It's an
feels-
ongoing battle,
Well, I think apocalyptic has to do with
like
the
end of the
world.
world.
So, like, if you're
Are you talking Earth?
If you're on,
Alpha Centauri?
what is Alpha Centauri?
It's just a star.
What's the planet?
Hoth.
What's Leia's home
Tatooine.
planet that gets blown up?
Naboo.
Naboo?
No.
No.
Alderaan.
Alderaan.
Yeah.
Now, I mean,
Yeah.
for Alderaan, it was an absolutely apocalyptic movie.
Well-
and then all the other ones were post, or the prequels were pre.
The prequels would be pre.
So if we're sitting on
Yeah.
Alderaan, that's a different story.
But is there
So-
post-apocalyptic for Alderaan if they don't exist?
Yes.
there's nobody left alive.
I suppose when you take it into space, things get a little sketchy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, I think space, I think fantasy world. So, like, your Harry Potters, because it's a, I think, is Harry Potter part of our world?
Kind of. He
It's
either
either
is
or it isn't, yeah.
I think it is. But there's
So I do think there's a genre of fantasy where it really is different. Or what about like Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Well, that would be pre-apocalyptic because,
But that's a whole different world. Cartoons are existing side by side
still
with
feels
people.
like, because when you think about a post-apocalyptic movie, it's a movie where like all the structures of society have completely broken down and it's anarchy. So as long as there are structures that exist,
Okay.
then it's pre-apocalyptic. But post-apocalyptic movies like Hunger Games,
Right.
although it has structure, you can see that everything has like completely
Right.
been
Right.
leveled, and you started over again. So
Okay.
I would say Roger Rabbit is pre-apocalyptic.
I'm just racking my brain. I think space is
Yeah, I think
That's a
because
tough one.
the word apocalyptic
Now,
has to do
Star
with
Trek
a world.
is post-apocalyptic,
Well,
right? Didn't Earth and like the whole
nothing.
system get turned around and America fell?
Is that part of the story of Star Trek?
I think so.
Was there atomic war?
There was
or-
something because like
Yeah.
when the guy who invented warp, like they were like living in the slums or something.
What's his
I
name?
can't
Zephyrin Cochrane?
Yes.
Is that his name?
Yeah. So, but when you watch that movie, they're
Yeah, that's true.
They look
That
like they're
feels a bit
post-apocalyptic,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, I guess Star Trek is all post-apocalyptic. But from a positive standpoint, like it doesn't have to always be bad.
No, it could be
Things
good,
can
yeah.
turn out good.
yeah.
You don't actually see that. Now that I'm thinking about this, you don't. When you hear of post-apocalyptic movies,
You don't think good.
You only assume bad.
Well, Star Trek defied those odds, right?
Yeah.
It goes against the grain.
So I suppose this is a pitch for an apocalypse. You know what I mean? Maybe an
Oh, yeah.
apocalypse doesn't have to be a bad thing.
So what we're experiencing right now in real life is good
It could
because
be-
it's going
it
to
could be
come out
wonderful. It could-
good on the
The end of this
yeah.
is the holodeck.
We might be in the holodeck right now. You might be a program, a simulation.
Listen, if this is the holodeck simulation that you dialed up, you are pathetic. Your life, I feel bad for you. Your life
Yeah.
needs a lot of
Well,
help.
unless you're LeBron James, and it's LeBron James holodeck. We're just a part of it.
You mean like the whole world
Yes.
is a giant holodeck?
It's a giant holodeck.
Wow.
And
Who in the world
Bill
do you
Gates.
think-
It's Bill Gates. We live in Bill Gates' holodeck.
I was going to say Elon Musk, maybe. I'm just trying to think of somebody eccentric enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Either one of those guys, for sure. Bill Gates probably has the technology to do it.
So Bill Gates is like the only real person.
Or Steve Jobs, and he just checked out of the holodeck.
But
the program is still running.
Continues. Wow.
We're just a holodeck.
And we're pre-programmed.
Yeah. Like whatever I'm going to do is predetermined.
By
It's programmed. It's
the
a computer
holodeck program.
Yeah. By Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or whoever programmed it.
That means that nothing we do really matters.
True.
You know what I mean? I could punch you in your face right now.
You could.
And ultimately, it would just be a simulation punching a simulation. Like,
Yeah.
it wouldn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I could stick this thumb in your eye. I got a lot of thinking to do. I'm going to have a long walk tonight and just no headphones, just, contemplating.
Cry
my
yourself to sleep
existence.
in the fetal position.
I suppose the only one that can confirm this would be Bill Gates
Or Elon Musk.
or Elon Musk
I mean, whoever's program it is.
or Steve Jobs,
yeah.
which is sad.
Why is
So
it sad?
We're just
The program's still running. He's coming back.
so Steve Jobs.
It's like the Sherlock holodeck. It ran when they left, and they came back, and it was like fast forward through time.
Okay.
The computer simulation is still running.
I view us no. This is the way I view it: is that like Steve Jobs had like a virtual mask thing on. You know what I mean? Like in this holodeck or whatever, and he like sitting in his chair like had a heart attack, and we're just
we're stuck.
a CPU sitting like gathering dust,
Yeah.
but just hasn't been unplugged yet.
That could be.
You know, and the program is just running, but nobody has discovered his body. But maybe for every like 1 minute in real time there,
Yeah.
it's like 1,000 years here.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I
So
mean?
it could
So-
go on for
Yeah,
thousands of years.
yeah. At the very least, it won't affect us. So
Yeah.
our children's children's children's
Yes.
children. Okay. All right. What's your second thing?
So my second thing, because I'm on keto, and my wife's doing it too, so she's never as hardcore with it as I am. She still likes to treat herself.
Treat yourself. You don't
I
know what
try
it is.
really, really hard to avoid it, like the plague, because for me, just a taste of something, I just want to, like a little bit of ice cream, I want a lot of ice cream. A little bit of chocolate, I want a lot of chocolate.
Yeah.
One Skittle, not good enough.
Yeah.
I need 100 Skittles.
Yeah.
So, I'm okay if it's a version of it, right? So there are sugar-free
Right.
options.
I hear.
So, one of the sugar-free options, she bought some Russell Stovers at Kroger's. It was a bag. It was like $10, but it had sugar-free candies in it, and she hates mint. So she pulled out all the mint ones and gave them to me. So it was dark chocolate and mint, and stevia is the artificial sweetener.
Yeah.
I had some last night. Delicious.
Okay.
It was it's as good as a York peppermint patty, which I love. I love York peppermint patty.
All right.
And this was
I mean,
as
I like
good
a
as
York
that.
peppermint patty. I just don't think this thing would be as good
Well,
as
it got me thinking.
Okay.
Mount Rushmore of candy bars.
Okay. All
Right?
I knew this day was going to come.
I mean, we've
I
done
didn't
Mount
know it would
Rushmore of
come so
Halloween
soon.
candy. That's different.
Whoa.
And we've done
That's
Mount Rushmore.
insulting.
I know. And we've done Mount Rushmore of Easter candy.
Yeah.
Right?
We've done Mount Rushmore of pie. We've
what-
done Mount
listen,
Rushmore
yeah.
of many desserts.
But never the candy bar.
Mount Rushmore of candy bars.
Anything that can be considered a candy bar.
Is a packet of M&M's considered a candy
I
bar?
say yes.
I don't know. It's a candy. I don't think it's a candy bar. The word bar, it's a Snickers, Three Musketeers.
See,
It's a bar.
we
Kit
got to make a
Kat.
decision because there's a possibility that Skittles would make the list too.
See, I don't.
See, that would be the candy aisle at the convenience store.
Yeah,
the
I
Mount
would
Rushmore
say-
of candy.
The Mount Rushmore of 50-cent candy in the 90s.
It's not. Okay, I was gonna say it's not 50 cents anymore.
Yeah.
it's $1 for a normal.
yeah. In the 90s,
the
like
king size is like $3.
early to mid 90s, those were all your 50 centers.
50 centers. Yeah.
Yeah, like the M&Ms. The
Okay, so
Snickers
you have a
bar.
choice. Would you rather do 50-cent 90s or?
I'd like to do both.
Okay, let's do it.
So let's do 50-cent 90s first.
Okay. M&M's,
M&Ms belong there. Yeah.
100%. percent I believe Skittles. Now, I will give you either Skittles or Starburst because I think they're similar enough. You know, the fruity candy. Now, they both have good things. I love individually wrapped
Come on.
Starburst.
What are we talking about? Yeah.
because you can save them for later.
Yeah.
Skittles, once you open the pack, they're gone.
Yeah.
So, for me, my personal favorite is Skittles, but I understand there's a large Starburst community.
There is a big Starburst community, and you don't want to offend them.
No, those people
Don't even get me started.
post-apocalyptic.
Don't even get me started. I would say. Shoot, I would say Skittles.
Okay, I would too.
Okay, so M&M's, Skittles,
Snickers,
Snickers,
and we have one more.
Reese's peanut butter cups.
I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think a Hershey's bar deserves consideration.
A Hershey bar,
classic
actually,
Hershey bar.
You're right. A Hershey bar belongs above
Reese's
because
cups.
that's a
Yeah.
candy bar. I mean, it's a Hershey bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, I think Kit Kat deserves
I'd like.
consideration.
I
I believe that Milky Way deserves consideration.
Mm-hmm.
I also believe that Reese,
Baby Ruth, Three Musketeers.
yeah, all of those.
Okay.
So what do we say? M&M's,
Skittles,
Snickers,
Hershey bar,
and Hershey bar.
It's the Hershey bar. It's a Hershey
That's
bar.
it. And Snickers has to be on it too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. That was actually not as hard as I thought it was going to be.
All right, now let's just do the candy bar. We've already said Hershey's
And Snickers.
I
think they have to be on there.
They have to be on there.
So we only have two more.
now
Reese Cups,
they're
is that
not
a bar?
bars. They're
No.
cups. There's a whole cup genre that Reese's owns. There's
Yes.
also a Mallow cup. I don't know if you've seen this before.
No.
It's called a Mallow cup. It's an older candy. It's a marshmallow surrounded by chocolate.
Yeah, I've had that. So like York Peppermint Patty, that's not a candy.
No, it's a patty.
Bar. It's a patty.
That's a patty. I feel like a Kit Kat is a bar,
I agree. It's 4 individual bars combined together.
but it is one big bar as well. Is Twix.
Yes.
Okay. So we wanted to consider the Milky Way. We wanted to consider the
Baby Ruth.
Almond Joy.
You know what I used to love when I was a kid?
Mhm.
I haven't had one since. Zero Bar.
A Zero Bar.
White chocolate.
That's got the word bar in it. That's
And I love whatchamacallit. That's one of my favorite. Oh, and Butterfinger.
I love a Butterfinger.
Listen.
This is, but once again, Jason, this is not our personal favorite candy bars. This is the Mount Rushmore. Do I want to? Listen,
Like right now, if you could get a candy bar right now,
what would it be?
to me, it might be a butter. Okay, what's the last candy bar you bought?
The last candy bar I bought?
Mine was a Butterfinger, and it was 2 weeks ago at a gas station.
I think it was a Reese's peanut butter cup,
Mm,
but that's not a bar.
it's not.
I don't know the last candy bar I bought. I don't know.
Now, we did buy some Hershey bars because those are great for
Yeah, we bought
s'mores.
Hershey bars for s'mores. I
Yeah.
guess it would be that.
So, okay, so Snickers, Hershey's,
Mm-hmm.
Kit Kat.
You think Kit Kat definitely belongs on the list?
I think so. I think it's dynamic. It's
Okay.
4 bars in one. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar.
So now we're down to Twix and Three Musketeers, and
Butterfinger.
Milky Way, and Butterfinger.
Twix is, well, see, Twix and Kit Kat, I think it's one or the other.
Really?
I do.
Hmm.
Because they're individually, it's like multi-pack, and it's not the traditional bar.
Twix is the only one that has the cookie crunch, you know?
Well, Butterfinger has a crunch.
Yeah, but not a cookie crunch. See, there's a difference.
There is a difference.
Man, I need a Twix bar right now.
Not keto friendly. What about like a
Candy bar is
Mounds
also
or
smaller
Almond
than
Joy?
they used to be.
That
And
is
I'm
true.
sure of that. And I know,
You're also bigger than
I
you used
know
to
I'm
be.
bigger than I used to be. I know that, but I would put money on it. Candy bars are smaller than they used to be.
I think you're right. What about Mounds or Almond Joy?
I'm an Almond Joy guy. I like a Mounds, but
I
if
love
you're
Mounds.
If you're making me choose, and it sounds like you are, I would choose Almond Joy.
Gun to your head.
Gun to your head. I'd say put the gun down. That'd be the first
Yeah.
thing I'd say. Jason, we're just talking about candy bars here.
Yeah.
Put the gun down. And then I would say Almond Joy.
Okay. We need to wrap this up.
Please.
Snickers, Hershey's, Kit Kat.
Kit Kat. Then now we're down to Twix, Milky Way, Three Musketeers, Baby Ruth,
I think Milky Way might be it.
Caramello.
Rolo.
No, that's not a bar.
I know, but it just
I
popped
like
in
a
my
Rolo.
head. Rolos are great.
We didn't mention Payday.
Oh yeah, I forgot about it.
Payday's solid, but dip it in chocolate and then get back to me. And Butterfinger are the other ones.
So my personal favorite would be the Butterfinger.
we've been over this, but
Yes.
I don't think it belongs. It's longer than the other ones.
It is.
So that's
I
unique.
feel like you're getting a better deal.
Yeah, it's also not as thick. So I'll bet the actual ounces is very similar to a Snickers, would be my guess.
Yeah. Now I'm not a big fan of Milky Way, but I just feel like it's pretty iconic.
It's pretty classic. I think more than a Butterfinger is classic.
I agree.
Butterfinger got popular because of Bart Simpson. So
Really?
I don't know.
I love a Butterfinger Blizzard.
Listen, if I'm crazy, if I'm like, you know what, it's
Yeah.
a night out on the town, and I got money to
Yeah.
spend, I'll get a Blizzard with chocolate ice cream. I know that's not your jam,
No.
but
I
I'll
go
get it with
vanilla.
chocolate ice
Yeah.
cream, and I'll get Butterfinger.
And
I'll get Reese's.
yeah,
I mean, if you give me the Butterfinger, the Reese's, I mean, I've been eating a lot better lately, and I might stop and get just one of those. Like, that's dinner for me.
yeah. You know, it's also fun is just double Butterfinger.
Well, and double Reese's is also fun. I mean, I've never done the double Reese's.
Double?
At that point, it's just a giant
Candy.
thing of candy, So, at some point, but I've never had that. Have you ever had a Blizzard? You're like, too much candy. Too
No,
much.
I've never had
It
that.
exists. I mean, it's
Can there-
possible.
We should try it.
I mean,
what's the
at
maximum?
that point,
what
it's
about
just-
one of every candy? M&M, Butterfinger, Oreo,
You know
Snickers.
somebody does that. You know there's
Yeah.
somebody that orders that.
I'm sure.
And they're paying like $15 for a Blizzard.
I bet it's delicious.
Maybe we should order it.
Call Grubhub. Can they deliver that?
Grubhub?
Yeah.
What's Grubhub?
They'll bring you food.
Really?
Yes.
I thought that was something.
DoorDash, Grubhub,
It's all
Uber
this-
Eats.
Oh.
Well, they're different companies, but
Oh.
you know.
Okay. So what was your thing?
Candy Mount Rushmore of candy bars. We got one more to pick.
Milky Way.
Okay, deal. Snickers,
Snickers.
Hershey's, Kit Kat. Milky Way.
I feel good about that.
That's good.
They're all chocolate. Is that controversial?
Well, it's a candy bar.
Yeah.
Is there a fruity candy bar? Or what would be the opposite of...
Well, I mean, so the Payday doesn't have chocolate.
that's true. Should we go with the Payday?
And it feels like I've seen some that are like coated with some sort of like butterscotch or, you know what I mean? Like some kind of different coating other than
I think
chocolate.
chocolate. You don't have to be different for the sake of being different.
That's true. The list is what it is.
Yeah.
If somebody
Those
else
are the
wants-
most iconic candy bars.
Those are it. All right. I was so I am not a smoker. I have never smoked in my life. Traditionally, like I didn't like to go to like bowling alleys
Yeah.
because they're just used to be so full of cigarette smoke. I felt like I couldn't even breathe. You
Yeah.
know, I do remember kind of like our grandpa smoked a pipe.
Mhm.
I do remember thinking that doesn't smell so bad,
Right.
like cigarettes do. But like we live in a different world. I'd be curious, but it seems to me like a lot less people smoke than they used to.
I think the percentage of people that smoke are less.
That has to have gone
Yeah.
down. And so, and because of the laws, restaurants, airplanes,
It's more difficult
every,
to smoke.
you're not around people smoking as much.
And it's really expensive.
Mhm.
To buy like a pack of cigarettes in Chicago is like $10.
crazy. You're paying like 8 of it to the government.
Yeah.
So, so stupid. I don't think people should smoke, but I also don't think, it's great for the government to.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's like a whole thing. But I realized the other day that so I don't smoke. Our parents didn't smoke.
Yeah.
We weren't around it a lot.
Right.
We just weren't.
Now, I have a pipe,
Yeah.
and I do tobacco, like pipe
Mm-hmm.
tobacco.
Yeah.
Not occasionally. I go through phases. Like, I'll go through a phase where I'll do it like 4 or 5 times a week for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I'll stop for 3 or 4 months. And then it comes back around. I think it's like a seasonal change type of thing.
Fall.
Fall's great. And spring is great. Summer, not so much. Like, hot, when it's
Yeah, I
hot,
get you.
it's like it just doesn't feel right. But
But here's my point: is that when we were kids and we were around cigarette smoke,
Mhm.
it usually meant we were out to eat.
Mhm.
We were at the fair.
Yes.
We were maybe at an amusement park. We were at like a family gathering, running around playing. You know what I mean? Maybe you were at the pool, you know? And so I realized the other day, when I do smell cigarette smoke, it like kicks like a happy feeling in me. Even though
Really?
I don't enjoy
Yeah.
the smell of it, I really detest the smell of cigarettes.
But your childhood was filled with
But
memories.
in my
of-
childhood,
yeah.
I think I'm like hardwired to where like whenever there was cigarette smoke, it meant like something fun was happening, something that was like out of the ordinary,
Right.
different, you know.
That's true.
And so cigarette smoke, in a weird way, is like the smell of my good memories as a
Okay.
child.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It is weird. Now, like the pipe tobacco, I have flashbacks of we did a couple trips with our grandparents, and our grandpa smoked a pipe, and I have flashbacks of that, like riding in the car and him cracking the window like just that much, which it didn't do a lot.
No.
Yeah, if that.
Yeah.
It just allowed it to blow the smoke back in the back seat.
Kind of like, and then swirled in the back seat.
So I do have very fond memories of it. And for me, when I smell pipe tobacco, like I go to a happy place, which is why I do it.
Yeah.
And
that's why people do a lot of drugs, Jason. It sends them to a happy place.
there's a documentary on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
About psychedelics. And they're saying that maybe it's not so bad.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Listen.
Yeah, shocking
I
that
haven't
Netflix
seen it
is,
yet.
You know,
I haven't seen it yet. Don't knock it unless you've seen it.
I'm glad you're sitting down for what I'm about ready to tell you. I canceled Netflix.
What?
I have been a subscriber to Netflix since the DVD days, like a long time.
Yeah.
It's been over 10 years.
It's one of the greatest pranks I ever did on YouTube.
I know. And I canceled Netflix.
Wow.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Watch less television, I think.
What?
Well,
What?
I've already started watching quite a bit less. And I just found myself never really watching Netflix. Then I asked the kids, like, are you guys watching it a lot? And they're like, well, we watched this on it kind of or whatever. And I said, I'm canceling it. I'm just going to get rid of it because you're not really watching it anyway. So it was just money I was throwing down the toilet every week. And yeah, I canceled Netflix.
Do we have to cancel Netflix suggestion of the week?
No, we can still do that
Okay.
because I still watch things.
It just
At
will never be
times.
Netflix.
Not currently. Now, Netflix apparently they have the rights to Narnia, and they're going to make a Narnia television series.
I saw that, yeah.
When that comes out,
Get it for a month.
I'll
binge
get it for a month. I'll watch it,
Yeah.
and then I can get rid of it. That is the beauty of these things, you know.
Yeah. It's not a long-term contract.
I mean, they threatened me when I canceled,
Yeah.
and they said if you don't renew in the next 30 days, you'll lose all of your profile information.
Deal.
I'm like, yeah, okay.
You know what? I would like to lose my profile because my profile's all jacked up. We had, like, Stella watches anime on it, and which is like it. She watches anime. Like Teddy watches like little kid stuff. Gideon watches ninja stuff. You know, Shelby watches. I like BBC, but she watches a lot of the BBC stuff. I like Star Trek and post-apocalyptic, and like our feed is crazy.
Yeah.
I know we have different profiles, but for the longest time we just worked off of one.
Yeah.
And like it doesn't make any sense. If anybody saw my profile, they would like question like this person does not exist.
Yeah.
How's that possible?
Well, that was not one of my things, but you were talking about it, so I just thought I'd mention.
So what was your second thing?
My second thing was that cigarette smoke is the smell of my childhood. So what is your third thing?
So I have a question. Who would you say your role model is?
My role model.
Yeah.
So role model is defined as the person in life that I ascribe to be. That ideally I would be this person. I'm trying to be more like that person. Or
influence you. See, I guess I look at it as someone who influences your life
currently.
Okay. They're a role model that you look at them. You don't have to be them, but they influence you.
Okay.
So, I mean, I guess I could redefine it like who is a person that influences you or that you get their content, you read their book, you watch a documentary about them.
So it can be a famous person.
Yeah.
Okay. Can it be a dead person?
Yeah, I would say so.
Based upon that description.
Well, what would you say though? Like if I said, like my son Gideon, he has just as good of a chance as anybody to be a professional athlete. I really think that he's fast.
Yeah.
Now, if he could ever piece together some skill sets,
right, little coordination,
it would go a long way.
Yeah.
But he's stupid fast.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so fast. Like Jesse Owens is no longer with us, right?
Yeah.
Jackie Robinson's no longer with us. I think those people could be a role model to Gideon, right? Go back and read him biographies and
Okay.
right?
Yeah, sure. All right. I would say if I had to pick one, and you're making me, so I do, I would say C.S. Lewis.
Why?
Well, I like the way he thought. You know, if he had only ever written fiction, then I don't think I could exactly make him my role model. But I've read
There's
him,
a lot of theology.
yeah, and just general life things and other things. So it's like his breadth of what he wrote, and they have released like multiple books since he died because they would take like an address that he spoke,
Right.
and maybe a compilation of them or all of his letters. He was like very on the ball with his letter writing, so he wrote a lot of letters. So you're always like finding out more about him. I mean, I've not written or read everything he's written, but I think I've read everything that he wrote, like that was published before he died.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just interested. So I'm like listening to this. So I guess two things that I would say prove this. First of all, I know this is crazy, and you might not believe me, but I'm telling you, this is what happens. When I'm reading a book, and because he's so quotable, a lot of times people will quote C.S. Lewis. When I open up the page, and I don't try to do this, I've never done this consciously, it's only happened to me subconsciously. When I turn to the next page, if the phrase C.S. Lewis is on the bottom right-hand corner of the next page, I instantly see it. Like, it's the weirdest thing. I mean, no other word would jump out to me, but like when I open up the thing, if I'm reading up here and he's down here, it just the name C.S. Lewis, everything just, and I can see it, and I know like this C.S. Lewis quote is coming. It's a really weird thing.
Yeah.
So to me, that proves that like somewhere in my brain, like my brain has like elevated him
Right.
to say this person's really important, and then like another kind of maybe evidence of that. So is like I'm always curious. Like I like George Orwell.
Mm-hmm.
So I read some George Orwell stuff recently, and I wanted to know, I wonder what C.S. Lewis thought of George Orwell. So I did research on that. You know what I mean? I'm listening to a biography right now of Winston Churchill and realized, well, their lives crossed.
Yeah.
And so I looked up to find out what C.S. Lewis thought of Winston Churchill. I wouldn't do the opposite. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It wouldn't occur to me if I was reading a C.S. Lewis biographies. What did George Orwell? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
But the fact that I constantly go to that, and I'm reading him all the time. I'm quoting him all the time. So, and I love like his biography. So, C.S. Lewis.
Okay.
There it is.
I like it.
Who's yours?
Well, I have a compilation. I don't have
know
one.
That this was in the rules. I
Well,
didn't know that this was.
You've
allowed.
already answered, so you can't answer again. So you just mentioned the name. I love Winston Churchill. I think the challenges that he faced were like none other.
There's a great quote from Winston Churchill in this book.
What I'm going to say one quote from him.
Okay.
That I love. So he was a bit of a drinker.
Yes.
Is this a quote that you're going to say?
Well, you know what though? He actually, because this biography is pretty in depth. It's the first of 3 books, and the
Right.
first book is 40 hours to listen to.
Oh my gosh.
And they said the drinking is a bit of a myth. That
Really?
He wanted people to know that he drank a lot. He always had a scotch and soda
Right.
in the morning when he
Right.
woke up. And then he would have a drink with lunch and then maybe a drink with dinner. But wasn't like he
wasn't
wanted
a drunk.
But he wanted people to think that he was drinking all day. Like it was
Okay.
For some reason he wanted people to think that. But
Well-
apparently he didn't. But obviously he did drink every morning and at noon. So
3 times a day.
Yeah.
First thing you wake up, scotch.
Yeah. So
Listen,
a bit of a drinker is not an unfair assessment.
Well, he was known for that.
Yeah, he was.
He had
Part of his own myth, maybe. But yes,
he had alcohol in his system.
constantly.
I mean, it wasn't an IV, but you know. Listen, I like to drink.
Uh-huh.
I like to drink every once in a while, but I'm not an alcoholic. I don't think. If I am, I'm very functional. But if this Winston Churchill, there was a reporter, a lady who accused him of being a drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Like like he was spouting off some things. You're drunk. He said, I might be drunk, but you're ugly, and I'll be sober in the morning.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I love that.
He
It's like it's a temporary state,
Yeah.
but you're ugly, and there's no fixing
yeah,
that.
he had a lot of those.
Yeah.
There's another. There was like a parliamentary meeting or something, and there was this lady who was she was in the Labour Party and just hated him.
Yeah.
Hated him. He had a lot of enemies.
Right.
And she said, Mr. Churchill, if you and I were married, I would poison your tea. And he said, if you were my wife, I'd drink it. Isn't that good?
I've not heard that one.
Yeah.
That's great. But I love Winston Churchill. I think in a lot of ways, I really, really think this. In a lot of ways, he's a lot like Trump. I really think that.
He's got New York roots.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, like his grandpa spent a good amount of time.
Churchill's grandpa.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I just want, like Trump's got obviously New
Yeah.
York roots, going back and things like that.
I just think there's a certain
no.
moxie.
He's got there's an arrogance
Yes.
to him.
but
that-
rightfully so. He
Yeah.
can back it up.
Yeah.
And
he knew who he was. And he
Yes.
was like, he didn't back away from his greatness.
Right.
There was never like any feigned modesty in him.
Well, and once again, I feel like history built up to that point.
Sure.
He was the
Yeah.
appointed leader for the day.
Yeah.
I mean, if it had to be him.
Oh yeah.
Right?
There's no doubt about it.
There's no doubt about it. And so I love Winston Churchill. Like, he does inspire me. Some of the stuff that he went through and had to make tough decisions and just awful times that they lived in. I mean, just awful. The worst of the worst.
Well, the big thing is like when he becomes the prime minister, it's in the middle of the war.
Right.
And his first big speech is he promises England blood and toil and sweat. Where, some people might say, this is a struggle. We're going to give it everything we have. But, he said, I can only promise you blood and toil
Right.
and sweat, and that we're going to fight till the last person's still alive.
Yeah.
And
it's
I think
very inspiring.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I believe that he believes that I'm with you. Not that so many people, they separate themselves.
sure.
And a leader who says, I'm with you. There's something special about that. I just love that. So,
He famously would put himself in dangerous situations all the time.
Right.
Like when it came to battle.
so there's two other people I want to mention really, really quick, and we'll be done with this. But I have listened to a fair amount, not all of it, but Craig Groeschel has some fabulous leadership stuff. And he's a pastor down in Oklahoma, and I've never met him. I don't know him. But I love his leadership material. To me, it's like, this is really, really good stuff. And it's not just because he's a pastor at a church. It applies to life. Some of the stuff that he talks about, insecure leader and a leader who is arrogant, and how these people work together and how they don't, and how you can submit or not submit to these leaders. And it fascinates me. You can take these skills, apply them to your life, and instantly have success. And I do think that there's a weird dynamic. In some sense, everybody can be a leader. In some senses, being a leader also means being a good follower,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's
And
that
so-
question is, are leaders born or are they developed?
It's both.
Yeah.
It's both. I mean, some people are naturally gifted to that, and some people can build on that. And some people, the best, do both. They are naturally.
Which I think that's Churchill.
Absolutely. So I really like him. I love his materials. He's got podcast and video stuff and audio stuff and books, and I really do like him a lot. And then one other, and I say this, you might giggle and laugh at this.
Giggle.
I don't know. I mean, you're going to think I'm stupid or that I'm playing a game.
I mean, I already think you're stupid.
That is true. So I've only spent a little bit of time with this person, and you and I spent some time with them about a year ago. A year ago, about this time exactly. Joe Caminetti. Now listen, I'm a father. I've got little
Are you
kids.
talking about senior or junior?
Junior.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've got little kids. And my kids, if they're banging on something or running around or acting crazy, like I go nuts.
Yeah.
And I grab them and I pull them to the side. I get very angry. I hulk
And
out.
we were around Joe. It was about 2 years ago. That time that
Was
we
it
were
2 years
around
ago?
Joe. Yeah.
I thought it was 1 year ago. So 2 years ago, we were around him together. And he's got 2 little kids. They were running around.
As they do.
My kids would do the exact same thing. There was a point where the one kid was banging on drums.
Yeah.
If that had been Gideon,
Yeah.
I would have gone nuts.
Yeah.
Joe, like, totally 100% was encouraging and strengthening their beliefs.
Hey,
that they
that's
could,
great, Joey. You keep it up, bud.
dude. You're fantastic.
I'm like-
You can, like,
And I'm
what?
like, do not encourage that.
No, what are you
Children should
doing?
be seen and not heard and barely seen.
Speak when you're spoken to, and that's it, right? But I really do. Like, honestly, I'm not joking around. I'm not trying to be funny or anything. From that point on, every time I yell at my kids, which is like daily,
Still happens.
I think about that and I think, well, like, what would Joe do? Like, how could I encourage? He's like the most positive person I've been around.
Listen,
I'm not
know-
around a lot of positive people.
no. You don't breed, positivity breeds more positivity. So
Yeah, and we
positive
don't
people
have that.
don't like to spend time with you.
That's true. Opposites do not attract.
Not when
No.
it comes to that.
No.
Okay. Well, hey, listen. His kids are still young, so jury's still out on whether that works
Yeah.
or not. You know what I mean?
We'll find out in 20 years.
What kind of little monsters they turn into. Listen, I think Joe's a great dad, and I think he's doing a great job. I don't want to.
No, I was encouraged by it. I'm like, can a dad? Because our dad wasn't that way. Our dad was negative, right?
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
And his dad before him.
Sure.
And his dad before him.
Yeah.
We come from a long line of negative fathers.
Well, let's say not negative. I would say everything annoys them.
that's me. What are you doing?
Yes.
Knock it off.
Yeah.
Negative. It oozes
And you're a kid.
negativity.
You're like, why is there? And then you become an adult. You're like, nah,
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do the same because that's how I grew up.
That's the Jim Gaffigan line. He's like, now I realize why my dad was cranky on every vacation. It's like, Dad, we're on vacation. We're supposed to be having fun. It's like, yeah, that's funny. That's really funny.
So, anyways,
Winston
I
Churchill, Craig Groeschel, and Joe Kiminindi
and Joe
Jr.
Jr.
Hey,
That's
quite
my
a
list.
But
Well,
I'm not
it's
allowed
a
to add on to my
No,
list.
you're done.
Okay.
You have C.S. Lewis.
My list is C.S. Lewis, Craig Groeschel,
And
Dave.
Dave. Did you see Dave's new video on YouTube?
No.
He did a Lean on Me where he did multiple drums and,
Oh, yeah.
and sang it and
I'll
stuff.
have to look it up.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So
Dave's the best.
it's on YouTube. You can look
All
it up.
right. My last thing, and I'll make it quick, is that I am so weird.
Yes.
I had to marry. I had to marry a person who doesn't mind confrontation, because if I didn't, God only knows like what would happen to me. Like, I need that in my life. You know what I mean? I need somebody to be like, there's a finger in my chili, and I need you to go do something about it. You know?
Yeah.
I called Papa John's on my own. Like, I was just at the office,
Yeah.
and I got some wings for myself. You know, they've got those roasted wings, better than pizza for you, And,
Dry rub.
yeah, it's just the dried,
Yeah.
roasted, you know what I mean? Not seasoned. But then he asked me, he said, well, we have sauces on the side. You know what I mean? And it comes with 2 sauces that you could, like, dip it in. Like,
Right.
dip it into buffalo sauce or something. Now, Jason, I was on the website when I was talking to the guy.
Yeah.
I could see a list of their sauces.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I wanted one called Honey Chipotle. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty
It
good.
does sound good.
That sounds pretty good. And I said, oh, okay. This is almost embarrassing. So I said, well, what kind of sauces do you have? I mean, a normal person at this point would just say, hey, I want the honey chipotle
Right.
and the whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I didn't do that. And he goes, well, we get, you could get like ranch or blue cheese, or you could get like a buffalo or like barbecue. I was like, oh yeah, okay. You got any more? And he said, and he's like, yeah, I don't think so. I was like, you got anything like a Chipotle something or other? You know what I mean? Now, I mean, I haven't shown my hand that I'm looking at the website. You know what I mean?
Right.
So then for me to be like, actually, I want the honey Chipotle, at that point he'd be like, why did you even ask me, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would you know? But why I was pretending, like I wanted him to bring it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why?
I think
you can't just call and say, this is what I want.
I think I don't want to be the kind of person that is that familiar with the sauces at Papa John's.
It's very, it's low on the totem pole of sauces that you would get there.
Right. And I don't want to be the guy that's so familiar with it.
Right.
Like, yeah, you're getting Papa John's a little too much. You know what I mean?
Right.
I wanted to be like, oh, what is this? You know what I mean? Like,
let's check that
I'm
out.
just like doing like a, normal.
Sir, I
don't
see
know.
your history here. You've gotten this every time. I'm looking at the screen right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's only a guess. I couldn't, I'm in counseling and I'll probably bring this up, with the counselor next time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pretend to know what kind of mental disorder makes me not even want to show.
Yeah.
Like, just even say like, hey, I'm on your website right now. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's weird. But then just the social like aspect of like getting to the point where I want that honey Chipotle sauce. And he's like buffalo, blah 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 blah. So
do you have any others?
Yeah, and I even gave him the word
like
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
I did that. I don't know, like some kind of like Chipotle something.
Something
like,
a little.
I don't know. You got anything like
Chipotle.
that? He's like, I don't know, man. And I was like, all right, I'll take like the ranch and the buffalo. And I did.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that when I went to pick it up, because I walked over, because it's within walking distance,
Right.
that he would have like not the sauces out, and I would talk to somebody else.
Right.
Still, there was a hope that I might get this honey Chipotle sauce.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I get there, hey man, there's your thing. So I open it up, and there's the two sauces that I ordered in there, and I was like, and once again, a normal person would be like, hey, I was on your website, I saw you had like this honey Chipotle.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. That's how weird, like non-confrontive, messed up I am, and
I think it's because I'm overly confrontational.
You took it all.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't compete with what I was dropping.
It was submit or die.
See, I have a weird, as you were telling that story, I have a weird thing where I just lie. So what I would do is I would get there and I said, my wife is looking for a honey Chipotle, and I don't know what it is.
I don't know. She's crazy.
She's like, woo!
She literally took the time to get on your website. Like that's how she cares about this too much. You know what I mean?
Like I didn't know what it was. And
but
she
hey,
said,
you know what I mean? It's my wife. I got to keep her happy.
Listen,
yeah.
Happy wife, happy life.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh my goodness.
Like
So
instantly. Oh, in my God. I know I would have done
slid
it.
into this
right
lie.
into it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have had to think.
No. I mean, that comes so natural. I don't even have to think.
Oh, well. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I blame lots of things on my wife and kids.
that I would
I mean,
I don't
it takes
know that
all
I
it off of me.
I don't want to do the lying thing.
Yeah.
I just want to be the kind of person that,
I think we're both wrong.
gets what I want. Oh,
Yeah.
no, yeah, we're opposite sides of healthy. You know what I mean?
I don't know why I lie. I
Yeah.
just, to me, it's almost a challenge. Like, I get to make up a story, and you don't know the
Man,
difference.
if I said that, I'd start sweating, like, immediately. And I would be like, this guy's going to figure me out. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
cares?
Erica's going to come in later and, like, not substantiate
So you're the one
my
that likes the honey
story.
Chipotle, right?
What? What do you mean?
Well, your husband said.
Yes.
Like,
all
and
of-
now it's like she's going to kill me
And
because now she thinks
I'd
that
probably,
they think.
if I could get the lie out, I would probably make it to the door, like have my back to the guy, with my
wife really didn't want it.
And then I would never go back there.
Go to Domino's
again.
from there on out.
I'd literally never go back to that place ever again. And that is just one that stuck out in my brain.
Yeah.
There are
dozens
of those.
dozens.
Like weekly, there are always those things happening in which I'm, avoiding any confrontation at all. And I'm not happy about it.
Yeah.
I want to be able to.
I'm not happy about lying.
But like I said, So anyway, that's
Okay.
the Papa John's. I'd love to try that honey chipotle sauce. See, now I'm even at a thing where, like, if I call back,
Blame it on your wife.
and there's this guy though
Yeah.
there, and he like sees my number, and he's like,
Just
"Wait
say-
a minute, hey bro, last time you got the buffalo and ranch, right? You still want that?"
I'd be like, well, listen, that's my wife was saying she saw something about the honey chipotle. Is that available here?
Yeah. Okay.
You just blame it on someone else.
I really want that honey chipotle sauce. It sounds
Yeah.
good, doesn't it?
It does sound good.
I mean, I don't know exactly what it tastes like, but
But,
you need like kind of like, I don't know, like chipotle or
like a honey something.
I'm thinking like chipotle, but like with like a sweetness to it. Maybe?
Oh, like a sweet chipotle. Yeah. That'd be great.
Oh, I got problems. All right, Jason. Closing down every week, we have the Netflix suggestion. Even though I don't have Netflix anymore.
No.
Netflix, watch these shows with us. Netflix, or maybe Hulu Plus. Netflix, watch these shows with us. Netflix, or maybe Hulu Plus. Or maybe Amazon Prime or something like that, like YouTube. Or we don't want to put a box around what you watch, so you never know.
That song is
It's
climbing
catchy.
the charts.
Yeah, literally.
You ever do this where you had ice and you're trying to get it?
Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? And then it hits you in the face.
Yeah, like the bridge of your nose.
I saw like
Yeah.
an illustration of because sometimes it's more than one thing of ice. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It was an illustration that anthropomorphized the ice.
I don't know what that means.
It's when you turn something into like a human. Like
I thought
like,
that was personification.
what did anthropomorphize?
I don't
I
know.
think that's a similar thing. Personified. I think anyway, in the ice were like people, and there's like a front ice guy, and he's like, hold
Hold the
hold. And I think that's happening.
Yeah.
All right, what is your Netflix suggestion of the week?
My Netflix suggestion of the week is a show. It's actually on Netflix. It's called Win the Wilderness. And this show is a Netflix original.
British.
Yes. Did you watch it?
I saw the first 5 minutes of it. It just didn't tickle my fancy.
I binged it. Did all 8 episodes with
Uh-huh.
Harrison. Harrison
Yeah.
watched it with me. And basically 6 to 8 couples, I believe it was. I think it was 8 couples compete to win this property. And this property was this $1 million property home in the middle of Alaska. This guy hiked 57 miles from the major town that was around and claimed his spot and started building a home from scratch. And everything he did, like he did with his hands.
Mm-hmm.
And like now you can't even get there without hopping on an airplane. He cleared a airplane path through the woods. So airplanes come and go with supplies, materials, and people and stuff like that. But it's fascinating.
Okay.
So you kind of get this wilderness survival thing.
Mm-hmm.
And what he wants is to select a couple that can survive, win the wild.
Mm-hmm.
They can survive in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a combination of like isolation.
Yeah.
Like you're going to go for months at a time without seeing or talking to anybody.
I do like those sort of things. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, like bushcraft videos.
Oh, yeah,
you know? I enjoy those more because I don't like the drummed up drama of those kind of shows sometimes.
Yeah.
You know,
I just thought it was a great level And they were all British couples.
Well,
and so that
that's
was kind of fun, too.
Nothing wrong. Just it made me want to watch the Great British Baking Show, so I probably just turned that on. All right, my Netflix suggestion of the week can be found on Amazon Prime. It's a documentary called The Pretender.
Okay.
It is about a guy that kind of looks a little bit like Sylvester Stallone, and at some point in high school decided that that's his life, and he is gonna be like Rocky, and he's
in real life?
He's like a Rocky impersonator.
Okay.
It's pretty sad. He actually looks the part, does a pretty good job. The voice and stuff doesn't, but like his whole
Was it a documentary?
yes,
Okay.
and his whole like thing is like building up to like he's never met the guy.
Okay.
And finally, like getting to the point where like he has a book called I forget the name of the book, but it's about him trying to be like Rocky, basically.
Okay.
And he like sent it to Sylvester Stallone, and they had him like taking it to like mailboxes, etc. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm thinking because like he sees like my handwriting on there. You know what I mean? Like that maybe it'll get through to him. I don't know if it'll get to his people or whatever." It's really sad.
And nothing develops from
Well,
it?
I don't want to give it away.
Okay.
I don't want to give it away.
Happy ending?
I mean, happy ending. I mean, maybe for him, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, but maybe
Is
not.
Is it
Sometimes
worth
we get-
watching?
Yes,
Okay.
you will enjoy it. It's not, it's not like Billy Mitchell good,
Oh, yeah.
but it's good. It's definitely worth watching.
Fistful of quarters.
Yeah, Fistful of Quarters, King of Kong.
Yeah.
It's not that good, but it's definitely worth watching. So,
Okay. Well,
The Pretender on Amazon Prime.
I like it.
Kind of sad.
I will
but-
watch it.
Yeah. All right, Jason. That's a show.
It's exciting.
Sure. You gonna wear a quieter shirt next week?
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to examine the footage,
Mm-hmm.
the video on YouTube, and if I like what I see, I might continue with similar style shirts. If I think it looks stupid,
Well,
if I think it looks stupid,
okay.
then I'll go with something else.
All right.
You're actually wearing one of my shirts.
Yeah, because I went shirtless today. Our paint is drying out. Not completely dry yet, but
It's mostly dry
it's getting there.
because I can see some wet spots. So this is dry. So
This is exciting.
I think we should have a vote in the comments section.
Okay.
What was more entertaining,
Watching paint dry.
or watching us?
Here's hoping. Hey, whether you like it or not, subscribe, like. You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't cost you
I'll paint
anything.
that wall fresh every week if you want. If that's all you want to do is
If
watch
they like
paint dry,
watching paint dry, yeah.
I'll paint it fresh every week.
Yeah.
If that's what they want.
Yeah.
I give the people what they want. All right, Jason. This is Dan signing off for Jason, reminding you to always keep your stick on the ice and never wear the blue sweats.
Sit, boo boo, sit. Good dog.
I have spoken.